obvious.
Okay, so we'll go through this together. This is just like the test that you'll take Tuesday then. Different numbers, but just like this one. Okay, so remember when lines are parallel, these four angles here will equal these four. Vertical angles are equal. Vertical angles are across from each other, so 84 and 2, 1 and 3, 4 and 6, 5 and 7. Corresponding angles are equal. Remember, corresponding means same position. So 84 is the top, 4 is the top. They're corresponding. 1 and 5 is the right, 2 and 6 is the bottom, 3 and 7 is the left. Also, alternate interior, it's just what it sounds like. Interior are the angles that are inside, and they alternate sides. 3 and 5 are equal, 2 and 4 are equal. Same side interior are on the same side. They're not equal. They add up to 180. And then alternate exterior is just what it sounds like. The exterior angles are 7 and 6 and 1 and 84. And they alternate sides. So if you just fill this in right away, this is 84. Right next to 84 is 1 and 3. So everyone know how to find it when they make a straight line?
It has to equal
Subtract from
180.
96, which means that's 96. So these four are the same. 84, 96, 84, 96. So angle 6 is 84.
Oh, Spin, I got it right.
Because they
If you
are
looked at me, I
alternate.
took a gander.
When it says to
No, I got it.
explain, it's because they are alternate exterior angles. No, I didn't tell you to do that, but you need to know what type of angles these are. So this is on this side and this is on this side, so they alternate sides and they're exterior. And you can just abbreviate Alt X on the problems where they ask what they are. Yeah? If it tells you to, yeah. So angle 5 is right here. It's the same as angle 3. It's 96. And the reason why is they're both interior and they alternate sides. So they're alternate interior. You can just abbreviate it Alt-Int. 4 is the same as 84. And they're in the same position, so those are corresponding. And you can just say CORR for corresponding. And angle 7 is 96. Now it doesn't really have a name compared to the 84, but if you had to call, I mean it does. You can call it something. It's not one of the main four. Same side exterior, right? So you can just go SS exterior. So to find the measure of interior, all you got to do is remember what the angles always add up to?
180.
180 in a triangle. So just subtract these two off of 180. And you get 16, huh?
Oh, good, I got the right.
Here, this is a 90. Everyone knows that the little box means 90.
Yes, sir.
And this is 45, so you can subtract them, but the quicker, easier way is, if these two sides are the same, what do you know about these two angles?
Those are the same.
Yep, so X is 45. Now, exterior angles. These are ones where there's more than just one X in it. So you need to know this formula. The exterior angle, 4x plus 9, is always going to equal what?
360.
No? Yeah, all of them will add up to 360, that's right.
Oh.
One of them, no. It equals the other two interior angles added together. Any exterior angle, right here, would equal these two added together. Even though it's not labeled, that's what they're asking for here. okay? Because an exterior is the outside angle. So you really don't even need, this one you can do two different ways. This one you need to know that. An exterior angle equals the other two interior angles added together. So you gotta write that equation. So 4x plus 9 equals these two added together. So when you add them, what does that end up making?
5x.
Minus 12, right? So get the x's together on one side. It's quicker if you move the 4x over, because remember it changes from plus to minus. And then it just gives you x. So then get the non-x's to this side. It's a minus 12, so add 12. So 21 is x. Now make sure on the test, they may just ask you to find x. They may tell you to find the exterior angle. So make sure you know what they're looking for. If it's just x, you're done. If it's the exterior angle, everyone know what you got to do? Put 21 in for the x. So 4 times 21 plus 9 is 93. Okay? So in this one, if they wanted you to find just x, you would just add all these up. 51 plus x plus 2x. What do you get when you add those?
3x.
3x plus 51. Since it's the three angles, they gotta equal 180. So subtract 51
Then divide by 3.
and then divide by 3. And x is 43.
But that doesn't make sense because the angle is bigger than them.
It is, but we didn't find the exterior angle. I'm just showing you if they asked you to solve for x, this is what you do. Now, what you could do is to find the exterior angle. If this is 43, what would you do to find the exterior?
Minus 180.
Minus it from 180 and it'd be 137. Now, the other way you could have did it right away is to find the exterior angle right away, just call it y. Y has to equal the other two interior angles added together. 2x plus 51. Oh, I'd have to call this x, sorry. Oh, no, we can't do that because x, no, you can't do that. You gotta do it this way. You gotta figure out what that is and then subtract it off 180.
What was number 6?
Take one of those things and 4 or 5.
Okay, to find the sum of an interior angle, you need to memorize this formula. It is the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So you got to count the sides. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 minus 2 is 10 times 180.
Which is
this me?
1800.
1,800, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
We gotta write. Gotta write.
Okay, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you take 4 times 180.
720.
720. So you got to remember to subtract 2 off of the number of sides. Easy to do as long as you remember it.
That's easy.
So what that means then is to find the missing measures, you need to know what the interior angles add up to. So you got to do just what we did on the last one. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So take 5 times 180 is 900 degrees. Subtract off all these that you know. So when I subtract these angles off that we know, I'm left with 174. So that means these two got to make 174. Yeah, so you add them up. 3x and x is 4x. It has to equal 174. So divide by 4. You get x equals 43 43.5.
Yay, good.
So that means this angle is 43.5, and this angle is 3 x's, so you got to take that times 3, 130.5.
Oh wait, we had to do 2.
Yeah, because they wanted the measures of the missing interior angles. So for 12, it's kind of hard to see, but this is a side, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So take 2 off of that. 3 times 180 is 540. So you can subtract off the ones that you know, minus 85.
No more.
And you're left with
You're trying to learn.
234 degrees left over for these two. So that means these two added up has to equal 234. So when you add these, how many x's does it make? 4 x's, because the x plus 3x. And then there's a minus 6, has to equal 234. So then when you solve the equation, you add 6. And then divide by 4. And you get 60. So that means this angle is just x, so that angle is 60. This angle is 3 times x, take away 6. So take 3 times 60 minus 6, yep, 174.
Sorry, we're not all tryhards like you, Abby. Abby, you can barely see over Zach. I can't
Okay.
even see her.
Why do you fit in Devin's spot?
Exterior angles
Yelled at.
always add up to 360. No matter how many sides there are, the exterior angles always add up to 360. So what you got to do is add all these up and set it equal to 360. So just combine all the x's. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 4 is 12 x's. And then there's a -1, a +4, and a 105.
108.
-1 plus 4, yep, 108.
No, around here.
That has to equal 360. So then you just solve the equation. Get the x by itself, subtract 108.
Parker's gay. I said that's gay. Parker does this.
252 equals 12x. Divide by 12. And you get x equals 21.
Sweet.
So
You're so smarty,
remember,
Lena.
they want the exterior
I'm
angles.
good at push-ups.
So that means you got to plug 21 back in. It's funny they didn't leave blanks for us here. So we know this is 105. We don't need to put that one down. This one, take 5 times 21 and then add 4. It would be 109. This one, take 3 times x. 3 times 21 is 63. This one is 4 times 21 minus 1. 83.
It's a carry.
Okay? So the same thing for 14. The exterior angles have to add up to 360. Now remember, even though it's not labeled, you got to include this one right there. Since that's 90, that would be 90. So when you add all the x's, there's 3, 2, and 1 make 6 x's. Everyone see how we got 6 out of that? Okay. And then 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 80 is 90, plus this 90 is 180. So there we added the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. It has to equal 360. So subtract 180. And then divide by 6, and you get 30. So then we got to plug them back in again. We already know this one's 80 and that's 90. this one is x, so it would just be 30.
You're such a
This
spaz,
is 2
Connor.
times x plus 2. 60 plus 2 is 62. And this is 3 times x, 90 plus 8 is 98.
I just lose the shoes. Tell her. Con.
Okay, which triangulars are similar? Or tell whether the triangles are similar.
They are.
They are?
No, they ain't.
Yeah, they are. But if you
No,
flip
they're not.
it.
What you gotta do is figure out what this is, or figure out what that is. So you just take these off of 180. So 180 minus 90 minus 47 is 43.
It's not, you can already
It's
tell.
not. Because remember, all three
Oh my.
angles gotta be congruent. They have 47's congruent,
Will you read my paper?
but here, this is 43, and this is 90. So this would have to be 43, and this would have to be 90, which since that's 42, it won't be. So the answer is just no. Okay? So here you gotta write a proportion. The measures of acute angles of a right triangle have a 2 to 7. So since it's a right triangle, we know one of the angles is what? 90.
My ear hurts.
So since it's 2 to 7, we can take 2 times an x, we don't know what, plus the other one then you would call what? 7x. So there's 2 of the angles. What's the third one you got to put in there? 90. What does that have to equal?
180.
180. So then you got to solve it. Combine the x's. And then solve it. Subtract 90. 9x equals 90. Divide by 9 and you get 10. So they're wondering what's the measure of the smaller one. The smaller one is 2 of those, so what would it be? 20.
Connor, you're so bad.
So all you do is you put x's on these when it's a ratio. 2x plus 7x plus the third angle, it has to equal 180. Okay, this goes back to the ones we did before. The angles of a hexagon, which is, remember how many sides? 6. Measures these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need the 6th angle. So it's just you don't have the picture. You got to find what does a hexagon add up to. So you take 4 times 180, because remember you got to take 2 off of the number of sides. It's got to add up to 720. So then you just subtract off the angles you know. And you get 161. Okay, then the last one sets up similar triangles. It's just like the last assignment. If we're looking here, you don't even really need to read this. You can just look at the picture. They're looking for x. Okay, so you can set up a proportion. This stuff just explains what they're doing. What is the distance from point E to the lighthouse? So, when you write your proportion, x, you could put it over one of 2 things. I could put x to 100 equals, so since I went this to this, what would I have to put it equal to? What over what? 90 over 36, right. This to this, because 90 is going across this way and x is going across that way, so they both have to be on top. So everyone remember how to solve the proportions? Cross, multiply, and divide.
Hunter, right
25.
like that. Right like this, like that. Who's back there? Fox from the Star Wars, who he loves to go watch.
Connor, are you gonna see Spock in the movie theaters?
Yes. Lord.
Lunch is full.
2,500. Is that right?
See my face.
90,
See my face. See watch.
no, 250, sorry. Okay.